What do you understand by the word space? Space. Or what do you understand first by the word technology? Technology. Or more appropriate, technology. See, very simple. Practical of science, application of science is technology. Clear? Before 1950s, our interest in sciences was restricted to lab. We were having much more experiment in the lab. And you know, we have three type of sciences: physics, chemistry, biology. Clear? Much more interest inside the lab, working on Einstein's theory, working on Newton's laws. But 1950s onwards, our sciences have started taking much more interest to go beyond lab. For example, you have studied about a equipment called telescope. Clear? Telescope, microscope, any smaller, minute things can be visualized. Telescope, any far away object can be visualized. Clear? So, all such thing, a matter of lab. Clear? 1950s onwards, science have taken interest much more beyond the lab. Why to look from Earth to universe? Go to space, look there. Clear? So very simple. Technology is application of sciences. Clear? For example, airplane, rocket, missile, these all are what? Application of sciences. We have calculated that this is the force required to throw a stone. Clear? To this distance. We have calculated this in the physics lab. Now very simple. On this basis of calculation, we design a missile that if this force, it can throw a stone to this distance. If this force will be utilized through the engine, it can throw the bomb to any kilometer. So very simple. Technology is the application of science. Clear? Now, this application of science to perform where in space, this all experiment started by 1950s decade. Is clear? Now, simple meaning of space is what? I can say anything above the surface of Earth can be said as a space. Clear? Now, you can ask one question, that why science have started taking much more interest to this space? Because see, you know, we human being or any living being naturally can have the communication. Understand this line? We human being naturally can have the communication. Understand the thing? For example, say, when we human being speaks, it is audible to those who is present nearby. Is clear? No technology, natural. Clear? Science studied in a great detail that how this natural process is scientifically happening. Have you ever thought how our voice reaches to someone sitting near? And what happens? What happens to the distance? For example, my voice is audible to you naturally, but my voice is not audible in US. Both the natural factor. Science have started taking much more interest in this. And what our physics have come to the conclusion that first understand the natural step. Step number one, we human being naturally are having a vocal cord. Clear? Step one, I'm first taking about natural case, then I link this with science. Second, our vocal cord releases a wave. Clear? Natural. Likewise, we human being, there are many living beings. whose vocal cord releases a wave. But as we human being were having consciousness, so we human being, on the basis of wave released, made phonetics of a language. To make it very clear that when this type of wave, say A, B, what does this mean? And we made a language. Clear? To make clear our conversation. Is clear? So I can say one thing, that language is made by us. Language made our wave meaningful. Understand the thing? Is without language any meaning what we are saying? You can understand? So, what makes the difference between us and animals? Language. By language, we make clear to others what we mean to say. Is clear? Now, first thing is over, that we have made the language meaningful. Second thing, how our wave is traveling. Say, for example, it covers a distance. Say, if I'm speaking, you are at a distance, and how this wave reaches to your ear. Understand the thing? Sound is a wave released by vocal cord. Language makes it meaningful. Now, how it is reaching to you? It is traveling. Clear? It is traveling. What makes this travel? Now understand this thing. What makes this travel? This is a wave. It means, what makes this travel? It means another waves are present above the surface of earth that makes a wave travel to a distance. Understand the thing? My voice is a sound wave, is traveling. What makes this to travel? It means above the surface of earth there are such waves present which takes one wave from one place to another. Clear? But if this is the case, why not wave is taking this to a longer distance? If this is the case, that if wave is present and wave is taking my voice to you, why not it is taking to US? Clear? It is studied in a great detail. And what is found? That above the surface of earth, that is space. Clear? Waves are studied, and cycle of waves per second. Cycle of waves per second. In 1 second, how many wave cycles are present? Clear? That is called as frequency. So one thing is clear. What is present above the surface of earth? Frequency. What is frequency? Cycle of wave per second. एक सेकंड में how many waves complete? Simple. Now, so one thing is clear, that above the surface of earth there are various frequencies available. Clear? But when we studied the frequency, what we came to know, that naturally above the surface of earth the frequency that is available can only make the shorter communication. Only make the shorter communication. Longer communication frequencies are not available near the surface of earth. That is why wave propagates only to shorter distance. Is clear? So first point is clear. With this natural process, our science have started taking interest where? To space. On what lines? That if frequency is available to shorter distance, it means might be some frequencies are available in the space. If, understand this line, if we human being will take that frequency from space to earth, longer distance communication can be artificially possible because naturally not possible. Correct? Now, take a case. You have a mobile phone. Clear? Have you ever thought how your voice, even speaking much to lower volume than this, how your voice is reaching to US to a longer distance? Have you ever thought? If I'll ask you how your voice is reaching to a longer distance, have you ever thought on this? कभी सोचा? बट अब सोचना पड़ेगा because you are preparing for UPSC. Is clear? This exercise is must. Is clear? Tower. Clear? Now first understand the question that how your voice is reaching to such a distance. Clear? Now understand. There are many planets. Even frequencies are not available to have a shorter communication. You can understand when astronauts go there, even they can't communicate to this distance. Why? Naturally, on the surface of Earth, there are such frequencies available that can make shorter distance communication possible. Clear? So, what the interest of technology on space? Search for frequency. ऐसी फ्रीक्वेंसी का सर्च करना है जिस फ्रीक्वेंसी से हम क्या कर सके, दूर का संचार, दूर संचार, टेली कम्युनिकेशन. क्लियर? क्यों ये करना पड़ा? बिकॉज सच फ्रीक्वेंसीज नेचुरली नॉट अवेलेबल ऑन द सरफेस ऑफ अर्थ. अगर नेचुरली अवेलेबल होता देन यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड, थोड़ा और तेज बोलते, मोबाइल फोन की जरूरत नहीं होती, यूएस में आवाज सुनाई देती है. क्लियर? वो फ्रीक्वेंसी अवेलेबल नहीं है. क्लियर? बट वो फ्रीक्वेंसी हम अवेलेबल कर सकते हैं. साइंस हैव सेड सो बाय दिस टाइम. हाउ? सच फ्रीक्वेंसी आर अवेलेबल इन स्पेस. उसे लेकर आते हैं कहां? अर्थ के सरफेस पर. क्लियर? सो यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड टेक्नोलॉजी इंटरेस्ट इन स्पेस इज व्हाट? Just in one word, study the frequency. Clear? अब ये frequency कहां मिलेगी हमें? And understand the basic physics definition of frequency. Cycle of wave per second. Is clear? Now, cycle is very simple. In 1 second, there are 2 cycles. Clear? Means, for example, if say our sound is not visible, that how our sound wave is traveling, but when you'll plot a graph on a screen, you'll find that our voice travels in this way. Clear? This is one complete cycle. Is clear? That is when you understand that one word have reached to you and you have understand its meaningful meaning. Clear? This is one cycle. Clear? So we calculate, because we have the time frame second, minute, hours and all, so we calculate that in 1 second how many waves have traveled. And what is wave? Meaningful. And how meaningful? You have made it meaningful by language. Is clear? So with this basic, one thing is clear to you. What is the objective of space technology? Study the frequency. Clear? This study started in physics, and our scientists have come to this point that this frequency is available to a height of 36,000 kilometer from the surface of Earth. Clear? Physics में scientists ने clear कर दिया कि ये frequency हमें कहाँ मिलेगी. Is clear? Earth के surface से 36,000 kilometer above. Clear? So you can understand, if say this is Earth, then you need to go where? 36,000 kilometers. Clear? In order to go somewhere, what you use? Vehicle. Clear? A vehicle is used to go from one place to another. Clear? So in order to go to space, what is the technology that is the requirement? Vehicle. But this vehicle is different. Clear? I'm going to use 2 technical words. This will be clear to you later on. Clear? So you need a vehicle to go to where? Space. But this vehicle is very much different. It is not like airplane that will fly from one point on Earth and will land on another. This is not the case. It will fly from Earth and have to go to space, means vertical motion. Clear? So such vehicles are given the name as launch vehicle. Launch vehicles. Simple. So what is launch vehicle in simple terms? A vehicle, clear, go vertically in space. Why you are going to space? Only one work, frequency. Clear? We have studied in physics that which frequency is useful for what. Is clear? So, accordingly, we need to go to space for accessing of this frequency. Clear? So, we have developed an electronic device to access the frequency. The frequency which you will tune, it will catch and will relate to the surface of Earth. Clear? That device is called as satellite. So try to memorize also. Clear? What is satellite? An electronic device to work on frequency. Clear? Okay. So now, only two things is the technology for this. Launch vehicle that will go, and what it will take? Satellite. What is the work of satellite? To work on a particular frequency. Clear? Our physics have defined that above the surface of Earth, there is a height of 36,000 kilometers. Now understand this one. Above the surface of Earth, there is a height of 36,000 kilometers where such frequencies are available. If it will be taken to Earth, any far distance communication is possible. Clear? Frequency है कहाँ? 36,000 किलोमीटर ऊपर. Clear? यहाँ जाना होगा. Clear? But एक problem है. Earth is not fixed. Is having a movement. Clear? So what does this mean? This also must follow the Earth. ऐसा तो नहीं कि हमने एक जगह रख दिया satellite and it will work, because Earth is moving. Clear? So this also must have a movement. Clear? So the path that it will follow is called as orbit. First concept. So what is orbit? Path of a satellite. Simple. Why there is a need of this path? Because Earth is not static. Earth is having a movement. Is clear? Now, one scientist, Clark, have said so in his physics experiment. So this height is called as Clark orbit. What he said? See, place a satellite here. Is clear? Place a satellite here. It will move along with Earth. And what it will do? It will catch the frequency from this height and will make relay where? To Earth. So it is said that if an antenna will be placed at the top of a house, and as Earth is moving, this satellite is also moving, so it will always be in the direct line of sight. Clear? Signal coming, this is antenna. As Earth is moving, satellite is also moving, so this signal is always relaying at the top of the, say, house. Is clear? Now, so this orbit, this height is given a term that is called as in direct line of sight. So what Clark said, that geo means Earth, geo, geo. Clear? As in direct line of sight, so it seems to be stationary. ऐसा लगता है कि रुका हुआ है, रुका हुआ नहीं है. Is in direct line of sight. और direct line of sight का वही मतलब है, if signal is coming, there is an antenna. Clear? As Earth is moving, it is also catching the same. So it's called a geostationary orbit. Is clear? Now, why you launch this satellite? For communication. क्यों लॉन्च करना पड़ा? Because ऐसी frequency naturally available नहीं है. That is why we have gone to 36,000 kilometers. It's clear? सो ऐसे सैटेलाइट्स को हम कम्युनिकेशन सैटेलाइट कह सकते हैं, बिकॉज वी हैव लॉन्च दिस फॉर telecommunication. Is clear? So now, what is the first use of space technology? Communication. Is clear? Now, first thing defined by this study. Second, if I'll ask you, have you ever thought that how the geographical maps you read are made? Have you ever thought how clear a map is made? World map, globe, how all these are made? This is not a drawing. Geography maps is not a drawing. Second, this is not an image also. Understand the thing. Image captures a physical object, and it is found that if we'll go at the top and if we'll start taking the images, only green or blue is visible. But you can understand how accurate are the maps. Sometimes it comes to the news that say government of India have divided a state into two, a subdivision into two, a district into two. Clear? Have you ever thought how the new map takes the thing? Because this is not so simple. If say a state is divided into two, it's not simple go and mark a line. Somewhere mountain, somewhere rivers. Clear? How sharp the maps are drawn. Is clear? See, all this you have written a mains question, remote sensing. In that it will be clear. Now understand, all such observation are made on frequency. It is studied in a great detail that there are frequencies available up to 2000 kilometer. Is clear? So frequencies available up to 2000 kilometer, and from that frequency, if a satellite will be placed, understand the line, if the satellite will be placed, it will map the earth, it will observe the earth. Clear? Observation means what? Just take a case. Observing the class or taking a picture of the class, you can understand both difference. Taking a picture is a static thing, but observation of a class means what? Who all are studying, who all are not, what is going in the class. So this is a matter of analysis. Clear? So this is the difference between a digital image and an observation. And on the basis of observation, the maps are drawn. Is clear? And in order to observe, the frequencies are available up to 2000 kilometers. Is clear? So what is the use of this height? I am writing here second, earth observation. Is clear? Earth observation. As is near to earth, so this is given a name LEO, low earth orbit. Clear? By around 1950s, 60s, space is defined. Clear? Why we studied space technology? For frequency. So space is defined that up to 2000 kilometer frequencies are available which can be used for earth observation, up to 36,000 kilometer for communication. Clear? In one of the USA research, it is said that in between both, from 5,000 to 20,000 kilometer, understand the thing, in between both, up to 20,000 kilometer, if a satellite will be placed, clear? If a satellite will be placed, the frequency is so that any moving or stationary object, time and distance can be found. Clear? So very simple. I'm saying this thing in other words, more simple. Frequency are available up to 20,000 kilometer, by which anything can be seen on earth very clearly. And why you are looking? Two interest, distance and time. Clear? So on this very basis, USA developed the modern GPS. Is clear? So as falls in between both, so given a name as MEO, middle earth orbit. Clear? What is the use of this? Is a new use navigation system. Clear? Now, above to this is a matter of research called high earth orbit. Is clear? So technically, what is space? This chart is a space. Is clear? Now, understand it, and as I have said, try to memorize also conceptually. Then only you can understand the higher things. Is clear? First, what I said, what is a space? Anything above the surface of Earth is a space. Clear? But this space looks free, but is not free. What is available in this space? Frequency. Frequency. Clear? And this is the frequency which helps to communicate us in a shorter distance. Clear? But longer distance is not possible. So we studied, and what we found, that frequency up to 36,000 kilometer, we can have longer distance communication possible. Second thing, what we came to know, frequency up to 2000 kilometer can be used for mapping, observing the earth. Frequency up to 20,000 kilometer can be used for navigation. Our interest over. Clear? Rest is a matter of study. For example, study the Mars, study the moon, study the universe. So such study is above 36,000 kilometers. Clear? So we have come to know in our physics research that which height, which type of frequency is available. Clear? Now, it is clear in the physics study. Clear? So you can understand. Implementation of physics to space is a space technology. Physics have said 36,000 किलोमीटर पर यह फ्रीक्वेंसी है. बट व्हाट इज टेक्नोलॉजी? अब हमें वहां जाने के लिए टेक्नोलॉजी बनानी होगी. एयरप्लेन से तो जाएंगे नहीं. क्लियर? तो हमने एक व्हीकल बनाया, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज लॉन्च व्हीकल. क्लियर? वो लॉन्च व्हीकल क्यों हमने सेंड किया है? एक ही काम है, फ्रीक्वेंसी के लिए. क्लियर? स्टडी तो हो चुकी कि वो फ्रीक्वेंसी हमें कहां मिलेगा, 36,000 किलोमीटर. सो लॉन्च व्हीकल सेंट टू टैप द फ्रीक्वेंसी. उसके लिए हमने एक इलेक्ट्रॉनिक डिवाइस सेंड किया. व्हाट इज दैट? सैटेलाइट. क्लियर? सो अकॉर्डिंगली, what is the work of space technology? Communication, earth observation, navigation and study. Is clear? Now, so very simple. What is the technology in space? Launch vehicle plus satellite. Is clear? Why we are doing so? Frequency. So very simple. Space technology means एक्सेस द फ्रीक्वेंसी. क्लियर? किस फ्रीक्वेंसी से मोबाइल फोन चलेगा, किस फ्रीक्वेंसी से ज्योग्राफी का मैप ड्रॉ करेंगे, किस फ्रीक्वेंसी से मून की स्टडी करेंगे, किस फ्रीक्वेंसी से मार्स की स्टडी करेंगे, किस फ्रीक्वेंसी से किसी एस्ट्रोनॉट को स्पेस में भेजेंगे. यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड? ये सब हाउ इज पॉसिबल? Frequency. Is clear? So very simple. What is space technology? Try to memorize. Technology to access space. क्यों? To study the frequency. For what? Communication, comma earth observation, comma navigation and study. Clear? In order to do so, the technology is launch vehicle and satellite. Clear? But there is one problem, as earth is not static, so satellite have to have movement. Clear? So the path it will take is called the orbit. Now take the case. Earth is moving, earth is spherical, so moving in a circular orbit. So first case is first option with you. That is, the day space technology started, by the time we were having only one option. The way Earth is moving in a circular path, follow the satellite in circular path. Clear? So very simple. If say this is Earth and this is satellite moving in the circular path, circle radius is same. So what does this mean? That every point satellite will be equidistant from Earth. Is clear? Now, when we become advanced, we started working on this line that in circular orbit, every time, every day, satellite happens to be equidistant from Earth. If say we want that there will be a point where satellite will be near to Earth or satellite will be farther to Earth, we want that in the morning time satellite will be near to Earth and in the night time satellite will be farther from Earth. This is not possible here. So one new orbit, that is second type of orbit, that is called elliptical orbit, is in the form of ellipse. Is clear? This is Earth. If satellite is here, it is near. Clear? This is called as perigee. If the same satellite will reach here, this is called as apogee. Is clear? So far, such basics are clear to you. Now write. Write a little bit fast. You are in the subtopic orbit and related concept. Is clear? Under the subtopic, write space technology. Space technology is a technical mean to access space for frequency for which a electronic device which is tuned to TUNED, tuned to a particular frequency such electronic devices are known as satellite, which is made launched by a vehicle known as launch vehicle, which is made to launch by a vehicle known as launch vehicle. Write in bracket also rockets, or previously sounding rockets. Sounding rockets, close the bracket, are used. Okay, change the paragraph and write satellites moves in a particular path known as orbit. Underline the word orbit, which is of two types. First, circular orbit, right? In circular orbit is in the shape of a circle where satellite happens to be equidistant from Earth station Write second. Elliptical orbit. Elliptical, Elliptical, elliptical orbit is in the shape of ellipse, is in the shape of ellipse, where one position, where one position of the where one position of the satellite is near to Earth, is near to Earth, which is known as near to Earth, which is known as perigee, 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 and the other one, which is farther to Earth, known as apogee. Apogee, Apogee. Then draw this one. हाँ, draw this one. $35,786 kilometer, approximately 36,000 kilometer. Okay, all three are same. Clear? GSO oblique GEO oblique CO. All three are same. ठीक है? Okay, listen. Tomorrow I'll dictate about this and see. Before coming to the next lecture, try to revise the thing. If you have any doubt, first I used to take the doubt session, then we'll move. Clear? But have in mind one thing. Try to be regular in the class, because you can understand, if you will not be regular, it will be very challenging to understand the higher things. Is clear? कल